I mean, people know the way, so we don't have to.
People know the way.
Has Face put the banner on YouTube, by the way?
I don't know, I haven't checked.
I love how we're literally streaming on a channel with another banner on.
Oh, I'll have a look anyway.
So,
I need to bring up YouTube to get the link to the stream anyway. To put it in the chats.
So we have got 15 people today joining us for the Japanese GP, and it is heavy rain straight off the bat in qualifying. And I'm pretty sure drivers are going to be fuming in their pit boxes, as Japan is a tricky track on the dry alone, and I think people are not going to have a great time in the wet here in qualifying. But we'll see what the weather forecast is like for later in this qualifying session, and of course in the 40-minute race. So let's see who's going to go out on track first. Usually whoever goes on track first is more accustomed and adapted to the track and the setup. So we have a Sauber out on track. I'd imagine that is ERL Mercedes. It is indeed going out first on the track with a Haas behind him. So as always, going to take you through the driver standings, which look interesting, more interesting than ever, to be honest. We have got Beer with just 179 points on top on his Red Bull with one win. Cadillac Christ has been catching him for the last 3 or 4 races. He's now only 18 points behind him with one more win in Monaco and Spa. ERL Mercedes on a 3-win streak in third, only 12 points behind Cadillac Christ. So 12 plus 18, 30 points separating P1 to P3. And then you got Tom Killer just 6 points behind ERL Mercedes with 4 less wins. Warlock with in the Ferrari in P5, his teammate following him very closely in P6, and then a big gap to P7 by the name of Hasnain. So we have got a very tasty battle up the top between the top 4, just 36 points separating them. So 36 points separating the top 2 in F1. We have got 4 people within that gap in F2, so it just tells you how exciting the season has been. And up until a point we had 10 different winners. Now we have ERL Mercedes with 5 whole victories. So as we said, 3-win streak, he's definitely the guy to watch out for as he's on form. He's currently the first guy out on track to try and set a lap on these treacherous conditions. Jaruru is right behind him, perhaps trying to get a bit of slipstream. But yeah, I have no idea from the lap times in the wet, to be honest, so we're just gonna see what ERL Mercedes can do. Nicolo has already retired from the session, unfortunately, in 130R on the exit, so he's out of the session already before even crossing the line to start a flying lap. So the Red Bull of Nicolo is most probably gonna start last for the race, which is 15th, obviously. So let's see how people fare in these conditions, especially in the first sector. So tricky. The first 2 corners are so oversteery when you hit the brake. So you can see everyone pretty much is struggling on the back end. ERL Mercedes has finished his first sector, and we're going to take a look. It was a 38.951. We're going to turn on the lap data so we have an idea of how other drivers are doing. So Warlock with 2 Ferraris on the first sector, Warlock on the 5th corner of the circuit, now going up to Dunlop. You don't want to be touching that outside curb as you will spin out. So 38.9 from Mercedes, a 39.3, so 4/10 slower for Warlock, perhaps taking a bit more cautiously, as we've not seen him do on the last couple of races. As you may remember, in Singapore he didn't have a great race, finishing pretty low. We have more yellow flags.
Oh, that's just Nicolo's car. Sure. Nicolo's car's still on track, hasn't been taken off track by the game yet.
I'm pretty sure that was for Wome as well in sector 2. He was off the track there on the exit of the hairpin, so probably locked up coming into the hairpin. But so that's how Mercedes are currently on pole by over 1 second from Giroud with a 43.992, so just in the 143 minute barrier.
Whoa, Grono's been getting well out of shape out of 130R. Hitting the exit curb on the corner, and it's just sent his car sideways. This probably will affect his lap time. We'll see as he crosses the line.
So Grangebury across the line, so 44.1.
Only a tenth and a half off.
Slower. Yeah, not a bad lap at all at the end. I'm going to turn off my notifications because I cannot see anything from the top 5.
A lot of people are banning their laps. Alice Killer's about to cross the line to do a 1:45.4, which puts him 5th at the moment out of 7 drivers that have set laps. Callum Riss is just starting his lap as well, so I'm going to go on board with him.
Yeah, Callum Christ obviously getting pole in Malaysia in the same conditions by over 7:10, so he's definitely a guy to watch out for in these kind of conditions. He won in Spa in rain, so looks like he knows the setup for these conditions, but we'll see. He's currently in sector 1, getting different lines, yeah, we would say, through the S's. But the exit of Dunlop, it's looking like a good delta so far. It's got Chill Drive right in front of him. He's actually going to go to the grass, but he's still pretty decent, 39.0. That's only a tenth of Mercedes, I believe. So I think he's lost a bit of time on the Degners there. So this is probably going to get him on the second row of the grid. You can see a big gap there between top 2, P2, sorry, and P3 momentarily as Giroud goes just in between with a 44.5. Zeta Mercedes back in the pits. Very tidy qualifying session for him so far. He's back in the pits just in time to have a second run in. We saw some people in Malaysia struggling to get 2 runs in on these conditions as the lap times are not very low as you would imagine. Tom Killer in the pit with no lap time set. John is back out on the track with Wome going out just now. So it's going to be a bit awkward for the second run for both drivers. Meanwhile, Greenwich Beer, Mercedes, Warlock, and the rest, pretty much of the top 10, are back in the pits, except a couple of drivers.
Callum goes 3rd with a 44.5.
So Callum Chris, 21 thousandths quicker than Giroud on his Toro Rosso. 6 tenths off the pole lap, though.
I reckon he did lose a lot of time though through that Degner section where he had to avoid Chill Drive on the exit of Dunlop. That would have lost him a lot of time on that lap. So he's probably got a lot more pace to burn. So we don't know the track conditions are going to improve over this session. It doesn't look like they will.
We see track evolution though, a big thing on this game, especially on wet conditions. I think Robert is going to start going down on the track and lap times are going to get quicker. So you're going to have to make your lap count on the second run. I think Alec Christ, yeah, he's probably going to go back in the pits. He's down on his lap so far. Giroud is coming back in the pits with just 4 minutes to go. So this is the kind of lap area that you want to be going out, time area. Robin is up on his lap by quite a bit actually, lose the back end on 130R. Easily flat through the dry. We can see people struggling on the wet as you would. Oh, he's coming back in the pits, is Robin. The Renault back in the pits. We have Hasnan and Caleb Christ, who's now coming back in the pit lane as well.
I'm keeping an eye on John, who's just coming through 130R. His lap seems pretty good so far. A little slow into the first part of the chicane though. Okay, coming across the line, it's not actually going to be that good now. 45.6 puts him 10th, so it's the second slowest lap time we've seen so far. It looked pretty tidy, but it wasn't fast.
Pretty fast lap. Seems that is being done by Wome. 395 on the Mercedes on the second sector now, approaching the very demanding spoon curves, breaking down to 5th gear, 38.7 I believe in the first sector, so over 2/10 quicker than Mercedes' first sector. Currently people are going out on track with just over 2.5 minutes left to go. Wome second sector, it's appearing with the same sector 1 time I believe, and it's into the wall! Wome just touching the outside curve in 130R, spins him into the wall dramatically there on the third sector, and that is game over for Wome. He's going to be starting last. He was on a good lap as well there.
Yeah, just pushing that a little bit too hard, and of course in the rain, if you lose it, it's so much harder to catch. As we found out with Nicolo and Wome both losing it through 130R in this session.
Yeah, he was on for P2 that lap as well, but instead he's facing the barrier. Chill Drive almost faces the barrier there as he loses the car on the same spot in 130R, and now he's out of his lines there on this last chicane, which means he's going to be hampered to start the next lap. People out on track except Hasnain, he's not going to have enough time to start a lap. Only 1.5 minutes left in the session. I think he's just realised himself. He's now moved down to P8 as John crosses the line to go P7, just 300s quicker than Hasnain himself. And that is qualifying over for John then. He's done everything he could have. Warlock, meanwhile, starting another lap. Well, everyone is on the RAV lap, so...
I'm on board with his teammate who's on a flyer as well, so both Ferraris have started flying laps. Alice Killer just coming through Dunlop at the moment.
Now.
I think he's the first person that's going to set a lap on this run. No, he's lost it on the exit curve of Dunlop. Big moment for Alice Killer. That's going to completely ruin his lap. He's not going to have time to do another one. 39.9 sector 1. So that's that lap right in the drain. Is his teammate going to make the same mistake?
I'm going to see what Warlock does in the first sector, then I'm going to run on board with Calla Crest. I think we should focus on our 2 or 3 championship rivals. Warlock is not great through the first sector, 39.3 to appear on screen. Calla Crest and Greenwich both on the sector 3 section, starting their laps right now with just 10 seconds to spare in this qualifying session. Mercedes already on the first sector. Let's see if he's up on his delta or not. Through the S's for everyone. The top 4 are all on the first sector. Hasnain is a wall. Calla Crest has lost the back end into the first corner, and that is qualifying over him. He's not going to manage anything better than the second row of the grid today. He's behind all his 3 championship rivals, and that is not a picture we are used to seeing by Calla Crest in qualifying. He loses the back end, and a 44.5 is the best
very
he could
wide through
manage
130R. That's probably going to invalidate his lap as well, and it's really compromised him for the chicane. That's his qualifying session over as well. So no improvement from the second Ferrari.
See then Mercedes almost in the third sector, exiting the spoon curve. Jesus Christ. Have yellow flags in sector 3. ZR Mercedes ending his second sector. Calla Crest has retired, although it doesn't seem he's going to be dropped by from P4. So I think he's going to remain there. So not too bad for him. ZR Mercedes out of the last chicane, and it's going to cross the line. Is this going to be an improvement? It looks like it. It's going to be a 43.419.
Half a second improvement.
It's pole by over 6/10 currently. But Greenwich Beer and Tom Killer out of the last chicane. Tom Killer seems out of shape there, out of the last chicane. We still got yellow flags. That's not going to stop Greenwich Beer from crossing the line. It's not going to be pole. It's going to be a slight improvement. No, it's not actually. It's 13,000 slower.
Yeah, it's just marginally slower. And Robin's going to dive into the pit. So that is qualifying over. Everybody's done their runs.
Indeed. So we have got Mercedes in pole yet again by an astonishing margin of 6/10 over Greenwich Beer. 2 people not having set a lap, Nicolo and Wome binning it in the wall on the same part of the track, 130R. And I've got to say, that was not a very usual crash by Wome. He literally just tapped the outside curve and he sent him straight into the wall.
Exit curbs around this track are lethal. I've been discovering that trying to do time trial laps around here, preparing for F1. Exit curbs, particularly through Dunlop, Spoon, and probably 130R in the rain, I can imagine, is a nightmare.
I believe Romy is running no assists.
I'm not sure.
Isn't he in AOR?
I don't know. The only league I know him from is ILR.
Okay, fair enough. Asnan is definitely running no traction, he's in P10. The big question is, what's the weather like in the race? You can see on our screen it's already light rain in Suzuka. So let's see what the weather is looking like for the race on Sunday.
According to the stream, it's dry to start with rain at the end.
Oh, so that's interesting. So we can see the final classifications here on the 15 people back classified. We have got only 3 people inside of second barrier of Mercedes this time. Caliquist over a second slower than the Sauber, which got pole. So this is going to be an interesting race. Top 4 on the championship, top 4 on the grid, with slightly different order though. So going to be interesting. Dry start for the race we have. So again, like Malaysia, people need to balance out their setups for both the dry and the wet conditions. Mercedes' pace translates into race pace. I don't think we're going to see many contenders for today's victory.
No, you're right. I mean, I reckon a lot of drivers would have opted for the wet setup, seeing that it's going to rain at the end of the race. Just to make sure you've got that fair bit of balance, because Suzuka being, especially the first sector, being very much a downforce related section. Wet setups will still be quite useful.
Yeah, you run a lot of downforce anyway.
Yeah. So I reckon wet setups will be the way forward for everybody.
So we are getting the formation lap underway. So we're raining.
Interesting tyre selections going on. Only one driver opted for the super soft tyres, which is Robin. ZR Mercedes, Gronos Beer and Tom Killer all on mediums. Calic Rist and Joe Ruru in 4th and 5th, both on softs. Robin, of course, on super softs, the only driver to have chosen them. Then we got Warlock, John and Alice Killer on the mediums. Hasnain on the softs. Andrew and Chill Drive also on the mediums. Maledictus on the softs, and 1A starting at the back on the mediums as well. Interesting that Robin's gone for the super softs.
Yeah, I think he's trying to be a bit more aggressive, but obviously very risky for the start of the race to opt for the super soft tyres. Not just that you can lose your front wing of this. Well, actually, that's the other way around, isn't it? If you use the harder compound, you can lose it by losing your front wing. But the tyre wear here is not very good, and especially in P6, right in the middle of the pack, he could be getting some serious tyre drag in the start of the race. But we'll see. It's interesting that Caliquist is the only one opting for a softer compound on the top 4. But let's see if Joruru and Robin can get in the fight on them top 4 and spice things up. Warlock, John and Alice Killer being on the mediums, I think they're gonna have their own race and not really battle with the guys in front. So we got some people on softer compounds in the middle of medium runners. We have got Tom Killer spinning in 130R. I'm not sure what happened there.
We've just had somebody disconnect from the lobby as well, because we had more people at the start of the formation lap.
Yeah, we have 15, I believe.
We now only have 14.
Nicolo is missing. Yeah, I remember Nicolo leaving throughout the qualifying session, but weird that Tom Killer spinning by himself in 130 as no one got disqualified for making contact on the formation lap. But everyone is lining up on the grid as they always do to start the round 16 of the championship here in Suzuka. Top 4 on the championship, top 4 on the grid. It's going to be an interesting start to the race. 5 lights for the Japanese GP, and they're underway. ZR Mercedes, not a great start You can see Grenishby right beside him, and Caliquist already up a position on his soft
Caliquist.
tires. And now side by side with Grenishby. Caliquist going to try to go down the inside on Grenishby, side by side heading to the third corner. Who's going to have the upper hand? It's going to be Caliquist around the outside. Small contact between the two of them, but somehow Caliquist from P4 to P2 on the start. Small gap for ZR Mercedes, a bit of breathing air, but Andrew, I think, the only spinner down in P14. All the Mercedes now have they moved down to P14. Unfortunately, we have more than 3 spinners.
Warmay's been the hard charger of the start of this race. He's gone from 14th to 10th. He's just been hit on the back by Chill Drive into Degner 2 as well, which has really cost Chill Drive a lot of time. Hasney now at the back of the field, so I think he's spun as well.
Oh, some dive bombs into the hairpin, as you would expect from the first lap. John is getting attacked by Alice Killer. They're now side by side heading into the spoon curve.
Oh, there's 3 cars going side by side here.
Squeezed. Yeah, 3 wide almost, with Wome charging down the field, now in P9, as he goes around the outside of Alice Killer. He goes into the gravel there, so he's going to lose the position, but he's going to have plenty of chances to go up into P9 again. You can see Joruru there and Tom Killer so close to each other. They actually bang wheels into 130 out. Joruru with a dive bomb. He's going to have to take the old route and into the gravel. That's definitely going to be a penalty. And he goes up into P4. He's going to have to let Tom Killer go through again, I believe. But 6 tenths between the top 2. Tom Killer right behind Joruru. I think he's going to get feisty pretty easily. Tom Killer down the inside. Joruru makes contact. Joruru goes wide and is going to try to go around the outside on the soft tire. Joruru in 6th gear. He's not changing a gear on my screen. He's finally done so. Tom Killer down to P5. I think he's going to be a bit annoyed from that. Warlock's going to try and pass the super soft run of Robin through the S's. But definitely an action-packed start. With the top 2 pretty close to each other as well. Caliquist needs to get some time on ZR Mercedes if he wants to win this race on the softer compound. He's going to have to conserve the beard. Shield Drive is on the wall, and he's lost his front wing in Degner 2, and he's now spinning into the gravel. It's not been a great start for Shield Drive, hitting several drivers and now facing the barrier. I think he made contact with Hasnain, if I'm not mistaken. But the closest gap we have got is between P5 and P8, as they are all very close, with Robin on the super softs. Not gaining any position. I don't believe he gained anything. Yeah, he didn't. But now he's charging down Tom Killer's McLaren. He's going to try and go around the outside. Tom Killer losing a position to Joruru, and now he's about to lose a position to Robin as well. Caliquist with the fastest lap, 3 tenths between the top 2. We have to focus on this battle for P5 for a bit longer, as Robin is going to try and go down the inside of Tom Killer into turn 1. Is this going to work for Robin? It's about to do.
Tom Killer's in the wall. Tom Killer's gone and pushed very wide.
Tom Killer has lost a bit of his front wing there. Was it contact, or did he go straight into the wall by himself?
It looked like he was just pushed a little bit wide into turn 1 and 2, and then the runoff area he couldn't slow it down in time, and he's straight in the wall. That's what it looked like to me.
I didn't actually see any contact made between the two of them.
There wasn't any contact. It was just a bit of a squeeze. Whoa, there's contact! Warlock and Robin!
Robin's in the wall now. It's all kicking off in lap 3 here. Robin making contact with Tom Killer in turn 1. Tom Killer found himself in the walls. Now Robin finds himself with half a front wing. So many spins in this opening laps. We have got John now facing the wrong way and the exit of the hairpin. So many crashes here in F2, round 16. And so many battles. John is the first retirement. We've got the 2 Ferraris side by side heading into the 130R into sector 3. Who's going to back out? It's going to be Warlock Minear. Alice Killer up into P5. Warlock right behind Alice Killer. Exciting battle between the two of them. The top 2 are separated so close. The top 2 are side by side into the first corner. Caliquist is going to go down the inside into the first corner. He takes over the lead of this race. ZR Mercedes down to P2. and the two Ferraris are still going at it. There's literally battles everywhere. I don't know where to look. Warlock's going to try and go around the outside. Oh, his teammate Alice Killer, and he's still going to go around the outside, side by side between the two of them. Is Warlock going to hang it in there? No, he's not. Alice Killer up into P5. There's literally battles everywhere. I need to take a deep breath after that. And there's all these voice cracks kicking in. Chill drive facing the wrong way again.
Oh, I thought Jaruru was going to go for a lunge up the inside of Grown Ice Bear into Degna 2 as Chill Drive lets the pair of them through.
Yeah, you got to say that was exciting for my voice to handle.
Oh yeah, Ferrari's going at it, and then Cadillac Risk taking the lead right in the middle of that gap. Andrew's the first person to pick up a time penalty. That was the thing, was I was there scrolling through positions, like, what battle do I watch? Oh, there's somebody in the wall. It's Chill Drive. Chill Drive's in the wall and out, coming out of the hairpin.
You've got to prefer the top two battling, but Warlock's got damage now. So Warlock's dropping back, he's got damage, so this is pretty much the stint over for Warlock. He's going to have to pit, he's losing so much time. And now Maledicted is right behind him, so that's a medium compound wasted for Warlock after 4 laps. Maledicted is right behind him. And I think Alacri is now going to pull away from Zeta Mercedes after getting past him into turn 1. Warlock, you can see there, huge amount of understeer, going back into the pits for a set of softs. I'd guess 2 sets of softs to the end, possibly, and a change of front wing, obviously, for the reigning champion. Zeta Mercedes, though, hanging it in there, just 8/10 between them. But Greenwich and Joruru, look at them, so close to each other. Joruru in the S's on the quicker compound, Wome with the fastest lap in P8, so 6 places gained, 7 for Maledictus. So very good start for both of them, finding themselves in P8 and 6 respectively. Warlock and Andrew pitting. Warlock's going to come out in P9 on the soft compound, 6/10 between the top two. Zeta Mercedes is trying to close in on Caliquest. As you can see there, Caliquest, a bit of tank slapper in the entry on the spoon curves. Jaruru there missing the apex, that's not going to make him overtake Rennebier in this long straight.
Mercedes is right up on the back of Calic Wrist again as they're coming into the chicane.
Yeah,
the gap hasn't extended as much as I thought it was, considering Calic Wrist is on the soft tyres rather than Zeta Mercedes mediums. So he's not pulling away as much as I thought he would. So Mercedes is showing some very good pace on those medium tyres.
Indeed. Caliquest's tyres must be wearing
right on the back of Grown Ice Bear, he's in the slipstream. Grown Ice Bear forcing him to the outside though.
That's not a great placement of the car for Joruru. He's never going to make that stick around the outside into turn 1. You need a lot of luck to make that happen. Joruru sticking in P4, Grenadier defense for P3 as he's seeing his championship rival in P1. He needs to defend this podium and take every point he can. But he's struggling. Both drivers are struggling right now, both Caliquest and Greenwich Beer. So this could be another Malaysia showdown. Joruru goes very, very wide into the gravel there. Robin in P11 trying to catch Tom Killer, setting the quickest laps. So Tom Killer and Warlock, them two battling a championship, you could say. A good 25-point gap between the two of them. But realistically, these two will be battling for P4, and the top 3 will be battling for the title in these last 5 races. But what else could you ask for, really? Caliquest, Zeta Mercedes, Greenwich Beer, the top 3 right now in pretty much reversed order of the championship. 1.1 between the top 2, and a good 8 seconds behind is Greenwich Beer from P2. So I don't think we're going to see a battle today between Greenwich Beer and Caliquest, but we saw a lot of excitement between these two on the start of this Grand Prix. So now it's all to play for between Caliquest and Zeta Mercedes with a strategy and with their raw pace. Caliquest 3 places gained from the start. Top 7 haven't pitted, and from P8 to P12 they've all made a pit stop due to losing their front wings and spins in the start. So not as clean as the last couple of races, Johnny. I
Hasnain,
think
by the way, is
seen...
catching up to the back of Maledictus for 6th place.
Yeah, they're very close to each other. Just noticed that, so probably Hasnain on a quicker, fresher compound. Let's see. He's been on that tyre since the start. Making a pit stop. These two Maledictus seems to be struggling though, and Hasnain is going to try and go down the inside and take the one. That's not a very smart move, and he doesn't go for it because of that. Maledictus though, very bad exit off Degner 2, and now into the hairpin. Is Hasnain going to try and place his car in front of Maledictus? He's going to try and get a good exit now, heading into the spoon curve. Maledictus gets a very good exit as well, so I think we may see a move on the next big straight. Hasnain goes into the grass there in a straight line, so they got to focus here for the exit. Maledictus goes a bit wider into the curb. Hasnain gets a better exit. Maledictus goes into the grass. I don't know why they're doing, but they're both going into the grass. Hasnain in the slipstream into Rich Mix. Is he going to go into Rich Mix? Yes, he is.
Pulls to the
into
outside.
The chicane.
No.
Down the inside, changes the line. Maledictus locks up a lot, and I think this is going to allow Hasnain to get a better exit, make the switch back and try and get ahead of Maledictus now, opening the DRS on lap 8 and across the line. Hasnain is going to try and go ahead of Maledictus. Look at Maledictus squeezing Hasnain into the inside line for turn 1, but that's going to allow Hasnain to close the door for turn 2 and up into P6. The Toro Rosso goes. Very good move, very clever by Hasnain, being patient and making it count when it mattered. So Giroux still in the back of Greenwich Beer. This is now the closest battle we have got. We have your yellow flags in sector 3. That's Andrew spinning in the last corner. Probably a traction zone, very hard. He's running very low on fuel. He's not having a great race, 20 seconds off the next car. But oh, we have Warlock in the wall in the exit of Dunlop, and he's got more damage now on this soft tyre. Another tyre wasted. Warlock's having an atrocious day here in Suzuka. He's put it in the wall, full of rage, and that is well and truly battle over for even P4 with Tom Killer inside the point. So Warlock, he's had an absolute mare of a second half of the season. I don't know why it is, but the reigning champion started the season off very well with some great consistency, but now he sees everyone else scoring him, outpacing him, and yeah. I can't remember the last time Warlock's had a clean race, as we know Warlock doing. Malaysia had a brake failure. Singapore, it wasn't a great race for him. He just got outpaced by 5 drivers. But he finished the race. Italy, he DNF.
Giroux getting on the exit curve of Degner 2 and going sideways. I think he clipped the gravel a bit there, so it's lost him a lot of time. It lost him 6/10 to Grow Nice Beer just through that corner alone.
So he's now out of DRS. The Haas driver. Lap 9, so I think we're going to see some soft runners pitting for the mediums to go to the end. I think everyone will be opting for the one stop, especially the top 5, in such a intense battle they have between them. I think they're all going to try and make their best on their strategy and their tyres. But yeah, I think this is pretty much everything that's going on track right now.
Yeah, there's nothing. The nearest battle is 1.1 seconds between Giroux. We've had some very exciting little battles and overtakes and people in the wall and incidents and everything so far in this race, but it's going to be a case of when is the rain going to hit as well, remember, because we have got that prospect of rain coming in a few laps time.
Perhaps the medium runners are trying to go all the way to the rain from the first lap.
Quite
definitely
possibly.
the soft runners are not going to manage that.
Yeah, especially after it's rain at the end, which is what I was told, as Tom Killer dives into the pit.
Yeah, the McLaren dives into the pits as Johnny's having a big yawn there.
Yeah, sorry about that.
He's had enough of that race. Excitement is gone. Yeah, I think we have rain for the last 3 races coming right in the same part of the race in the last 5 or 6 laps. That's definitely interesting.
Yeah.
We've only had 3 rainy sessions in F1. Damn it.
That is a good point, but I reckon we might get some rain today with Japan. There's quite a high likelihood of rain in Japan.
Yeah.
But as I'm saying this, Joe Ruru's caught right up to the back of Grown Ice Beer again. He's back within that DRS range, half a second between them. So Joe Ruru going far faster than Grown Ice Beer on those soft tyres. It's just how much longer can he take them before he has to pit?
Oh, Zeta Mercedes in the wall. He's lost a bit of his front wing. Zeta Mercedes, huge mistake on the Japanese Grand Prix. He lost half of his front wing. Warlock is now being lapped by him, but he's going to lose a heap of time. He's going to have to pit. And that's a crucial mistake by Zeta Mercedes. Never seen that from him. Very unrare.
Unrare?
Unrare.
Uncharacteristic might be a word that you're looking for.
Characteristic.
Not something we've seen from Mercedes at all. He's normally been pretty much perfect throughout the races, good race pace, keeping his car on the track well, but very unlike him to make a mistake. I didn't actually see what happened, I just saw the aftermath of it.
Yeah, just switched when he was crashing into the wall. Definitely weird that a lot of people losing in the exit of corners on the outside curve, but now he's going to drop, I think, all the way down to P6. Maybe very close to P7 there. Let's take a look at the league. Yeah, it's going to be very close to Maledict. I think he's going to be in P8 actually with a front wing change. This is going to be very bad. Depending on when the rain hits, he's going to select the tire that he goes on. Maybe super soft, maybe softs. Softs can take it about 11 laps if you push them. So I think he's gonna fit on soft. Jaruru around the outside again to Greenwich. Greenwich defends the inside line, but he's gonna go very wide in the second corner. Somehow he stays in P2 now. As Zeta Mercedes dropping down in P6, he's gonna drop down to P7 and in P8 as Maledictus and Wome very close to each other. Wome within DRS and looking very feisty to go ahead of Maledictus. But now the gap between P1, Calaquest and P2, Greenwich is over 17 seconds. So almost a pit stop between them.
Could that mistake from Mercedes have gifted Calaquest the win of the race?
Oh, we have Maledictus now making the mistake and Wome gets in front. We have Andrew facing the wrong way in the gravel in the spoon curve. Jaruru meanwhile right behind Greenwich and Lindmix for some reason on the big straight, heading to spoon curve now. Around spoon curve is Jaruru gonna get a good exit. He's running so low on fuel. As I was about to say, the top three are running so high on fuel, and now Jaruru is going to make an easy pass, into 130 side by side between the two of them, contact, and they're both in the gravel, they're both out of the track. Greenwich somehow, is he still in P2? I think he's going to defend the position as Jaruru gets another corner cutting penalty. Oh, and more contact, Jaruru is in the wall. Drama in Japan between Greenwich and Jaruru. Greenwich is going to let him through.
That was extraordinary.
Jaruru has front wing damage. That is just amazing scenes.
Well, Jaruru looked like he took avoiding action. Jaruru looked like he took avoiding action to try and avoid contact with Granasberry into the chicane, which meant he had to let him through for an illegal overtake. And then in the process of doing so, Granasberry's hit him into the wall and let him back through.
Yeah,
that was extraordinary, that was.
Oh, that's pretty weird. So, bit of confusion between the two drivers there. Jaruru makes more contact with Alice Killer this time. Alice Killer's going to move up to P3 anytime soon. But 23 seconds between the top two right now. It's getting very close between Alice Killer and Jaruru. Alice Killer's the one that got front wing damage. This is just unbelievable. Alex Giller and Joruru make contact. Joruru hitting Alex Giller's side port, and now Alex Giller's got damage, and now Hasnin is going to pass both of them, and he's going to find himself in the podium. So just amazing scenes here, unbelievable stuff by the F2 drivers. Just the amount of drivers that have lost their front wing. Calicris is having a flawless race, not pitting, still at 14, and he's still going on them soft tires. He's fine on fuel. He's going to rejoin first if he pits. And it's all looking like it's going to be the third victory for Calicris, although it's way too early. As we've seen, anything can happen. Hasnin is now going to pass Joruru and Alice Giller as they're both going to pit. So, just incredible stuff here in Suzuka. Alice Giller and Joruru don't pit. So, they're going to lose so much time here. In my opinion, that was just silly from both of them.
Depends on how long it is till the rain hits, though. They might be being told by their Jeff that they've only got rain in a couple of minutes.
This is
if
risky,
that's the case,
though.
then they wouldn't lose as much time.
So much on this here. More yellow flags
sector
in
one.
sector one.
It's Wame and Maledictus look like they've made contact down the pit straight.
Wow.
Maledictus in the wall.
Oh, wow.
Wame going slowly without a front wing.
Wame without a front wing. Maledictus in the wall in the pit straight. This is just so many crashes in this race, so much drama and so much action here. Joruru still hanging in front of Hasnin here. Hasnin needs to get past as he's losing so much time behind him. Hasnin with full front wing and soft tires. He needs to get in front of Joruru. 24 seconds between the top two. Who would have thought now, ZR Mercedes finds himself in P6 and it probably is going to be P4 after he passes the two slow cars of Joruru and Alice Giller. Alice Giller though is pretty much fine on pace, to be honest, still 3 seconds ahead of Hasnin, but now Hasnin is going to be charging down Joruru's back end into the chicane, which makes for both of them. But Joruru, look at his straight line speed without front wing, he's just flying on the straight. Hasnin cannot get anywhere close to him. Joruru is gonna brake fine for the chicane, which means Hasnin is not gonna have a chance even into the first corner. So Hasnin having tough times here, trying to pass Joruru with half a front wing, which means ZR Mercedes now just 5 seconds between the pair of them. Calicris I think made a mistake. 21.5 between Grimsby, so 2.5 seconds lost. Calicris must have made a mistake there, or he started like going off. But the rain is now hit, so the rain is now here. Hasnin around the outside of Joruru into the Dunlop. Joruru makes contact with another driver. Hasnin this time off the track with no damage, but the rain is here. Joruru goes wide into the gravel. Johnny, I think I'm gonna need your help here because I cannot keep up with all of this.
Well, Joruru is just trying his best to defend that position. Even though he's got front wing damage, he was defending to all hell against Alice Giller. They made contact a couple of times, even though he had damage, which then gave Alice Giller damage. He's made contact with our Hasnin trying to go around the outside in Dunlop as well. So it's just...
Okay, I have a question. How does Mercedes now have front wing damage? Literally 4 out of 9 people have front wing damage in this race.
Wow.
Hasnin now right behind Joruru. Mercedes has literally been all alone on this stint, and he's got front wing damage somehow. Everyone seems to find a way to get front wing damage. Joruru still in P4 ahead of Hasnin. I called it way too early. Hasnin cannot get past Joruru, so obviously with a pit stop I think Joruru is going to have to change his front wing on the pit stops, as he's done a very good job of keeping Hasnin behind so far. But ZR Mercedes now right behind these two, although with front wing damage, goes superior pace on these super softs. Hasnin, is he going to go around the outside, down the inside, wherever he wants to go? He has to make this move, stick around the outside in the fourth corner. No, he just tries to place his car, but Joruru is just defending beautifully here on the first sector. Hasnin cannot get away past Joruru's has.
Mercedes is right here with them as well.
Another opportunity.
Hasnin on the grass.
Mercedes right behind them. Mercedes going to try and get past more front wing gone by Joruru.
Hasnin off track into the gravel.
Hasnin is facing the wrong way. Indeed, he's facing the barrier. Robin gets past. Hasnin Still somehow hasn't got damage. But Mercedes loses more of his front wing by Joe Ruru's car. I think Joe Ruru is giving damage to about 3 or 4 cars by now. But still, Zeton Mercedes quicker than Joe Ruru.
Yeah, I think it's just he's having problems getting his car into a racing line where he can allow people space on the outside with the damage he's got. Because I think he's got half red front wing, and I don't know whether the left side of his wing's damaged as well. Which is really affecting him through a lot of corners.
Yeah, he's not doing a half bad job at defending, but he's just so slow with his damage that people cannot really dodge him. We saw Mercedes there getting a bit impatient. He was side by side with Hasning, so he didn't really know what to do. He didn't know where to brake for that corner, which means he hit the back end of Joe Ruru, who's now pulling away from him. Over a second between them, and the gaps are now starting to be created between all of drivers. We'll see who's gonna make the first call to go in for Inters. Warlock picks up a 3-second time penalty to add to his misery of a race. He's now 1.6 laps down on fuel, and he's on rich mix.
Tom Killer was thinking about it. Yeah. I've just spectated through the field. Tom Killer definitely thought about going into the pits there.
That was very close, but last minute decision staying out. That's Warlock in front of him having trouble in his Ferrari. He's going to let him through. Warlock's now being lapped once
Mercedes
or twice.
running wide out of Degner 1, still stuck in the dirty air of Joe Ruru in front. Which of course with the front wing damage he's got, as well as the dirty air effect of being behind another car, is really forcing him to run wide through loads of corners. He's really having to be really careful out there. Whoa! Yeah, Robin only 4 tenths behind Mercedes as well.
Yeah, somehow Robin with full front wing, he's challenging these two for P4 in this race. The podium positions seem to be pretty much secured for Calec, Chris Grangeby and Alice Killer, but we'll see how the rain affects the current results. Zeta Mercedes, meanwhile, right behind Joe Ruru, is going to go down the inside into 130R. I don't want to look because they're going to go side by side in the rain in 130R. Zeta Mercedes pushes Joe Ruru
finally gets the move done.
Cleanly gets past Mercedes, Joe Ruru, sorry. Where's Robin in all of this? He's trying to make a switch back now and get a good exit on both
Mercedes
of them.
Into the pits. They're all diving into the pits.
Wow, so these three are
Joe
the
Ruru
first
and Mercedes side by
Ruru.
side in the pit lane as well, by the way.
That's going to be interesting to see who comes out ahead. Mercedes
looks like the crossover has happened, which could well cost the likes of Calec Risk, Gronos Beer and Alice Killer a lot of time, especially Alice Killer. Because he'd gone past the pit lane, looked like the call for Inters was made just as that battle of 3 was coming into the final chicane.
Hasnan has jumped Mercedes now, so I think Mercedes must have changed his front wing, as has Robin's well ahead in P4. He's actually ahead of Tom Killer, and we have got yellow flags in Sector 3. That's Warlock Mania having a disaster of a race.
Out of the race as well.
Off in the chicane. And he's out of the race, out of another race, another DNF for both, I was about to say both Ferraris.
Race leader Calec Risk staying out again for his 19th lap on those soft tyres that he started the race on. That seems extraordinary to me.
How is he doing that? And he's even pulling away from Grangeby.
19 laps on those soft tyres is extraordinary.
But let's see now, Alice Killer and Robin, they're about a similar pace on the dry. Is Robin catching? He's not.
Beard going to dive into the pits.
Grangeby in the pits. Is Alice Killer going to go in?
DRS has been disabled, so the intermediates are now the faster tyre, according to the game.
Theoretically. But we'll see if that's indeed the case.
Alice Killer has a stop-go.
Yeah, I saw that they're speeding into the pit lane by quite a bit. So that's a 5-second stop and go added to his lap race time. So once everyone makes their pit stops, we're gonna see how the penalties are looking like for everyone. But the gaps are not very small anyway, except P6 and P7 and P8 pretty close to each other. Hasnan getting pressurized by Zeta Mercedes. I think everyone has got a full front wing by now. Yes, they have. So
Tom Killer dives into the pits now for his intermediates as well. He stayed out way too long.
Yeah, it is now time for intermediates, definitely. Tom Killer was losing a lot of time on Hasnan. Caleb Christ is gonna lose a bit of time to Grangebeer, but he's got a 21 second buffer.
Well, Mercedes running outside of Hasnane into turn 3.
Oh.
Very good move. It looked like Hasnane made a bit of a mistake on the exit of 2. And Mercedes just swooped around his outside.
So Mercedes moves up into the top 5 after passing the Toro Rosso of Hasnan and Jaruru. Is ever so slightly catching these two, especially Hasnan, as Mercedes now kind of slightly pull away. Seems to have the pace on these wet conditions. 5.7 between him and Robin. Calicris finally makes his pit stop for the intermediate tyre after 20 laps on the soft tyre. Gotta give it to him, that was pretty impressive after his disaster in Malaysia, losing the victory on the last couple of laps. He's now made a masterclass, to be fair, of a strategy, and he's probably gonna win by over 20 seconds if it stays like this. But we'll see, anything can happen. Don't count anything out. The closest gap we got is 7 tenths between Mercedes and Hasnan. So let's see what the penalties are like. Calicris with 0 warnings, that's even more impressive now. Grangebeer with 1 warning, Calicris, Alice Killer, sorry, with a stop and go and a couple of warnings. Robin with a penalty and a couple of warnings. Mercedes with 2 warnings. Hasnan with a warning, and then we got Jaruru with 3 penalties. So yeah, people are doing okay, keeping it inside the wide lines here. It's not a very easy track to corner cut at, but yeah, pretty much had all the action we wanted today. Been an amazing race so far with 8 laps to go. Toro Rosso Calicris is looking set to win 3rd win of the season and close up on Grangebeer on 12, I think 11. Yeah, it's gonna be 11 points if he wins, and Grangebeer comes 2nd. We have got a spin of Jaruru, so he's gonna lose a lot of time to Hasnan, which means that he's gonna
also
get
got half a front wing.
Yeah, half a front wing, just noticed that as well. So Jaruru out of the fight for the top 5, and he's probably gonna finish last as Tom Killer is gonna catch him down. Jaruru is gonna lose a lot of time, a lot of corners that you need a lot of downforce on this track. So look at that, even on that corner, flat, just a kink, he cannot quite make it flat, so losing a lot of time, and he's gonna get overtaken by Tom Killer in no time. Yeah, huge gaps between everyone, so I don't think we're gonna see any more battles or overtaking. People are just nursing their cars back in the pit lane.
As you say, there's no battles. Jaruru's run wide into 130R, and Tom Killer has just swooped round his outside to take 7th. So there's another position change.
Jaruru, half a front wing, running very wide into 130R, so really bothering braking for 130R, although with a half a front wing he runs very wide, and now into the pits to change a front wing. Gaps are going to be even bigger now, with the closest one being 3.4 between Hasnan and Mercedes. But I think
Mercedes has just picked up a penalty.
I was about to say Mercedes catching Robin, and he may pass him because the gap was over 5 seconds. Now it's under 4, but he's got a penalty. I don't think Robin has got anything. So Mercedes is actually Robin, sorry, he has got a penalty and 3 warnings.
1 for contact, possibly.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So still going to be a straight up fight between Zeta, Mercedes, and Robin for P4 in this race. Couple of points could mean the title goes to a different driver, but so far Zeta Mercedes losing quite a lot of points on Calicris and Grangebeer, who are going to secure another 1-2. So after this race, just 100 points to spare on the table. Sauber, meanwhile, pretty much have secured the title in the constructors with 8 wins and 319 points, over 80 points out of Scuderia Ferrari with 2 wins. Toro Rosso got 2 wins as well, just 1 point beyond Ferrari. So yeah, with this race they're gonna move ahead of them and even closer to Sauber. We see the constructors is not gonna be decided until probably the last race of the season, or the second to last.
No, because there's maximum of 43 points that could be gained or lost in the constructors battle at each race.
Yeah, if the gap stays as it is, it's probably going to be decided in Mexico at earliest, or Brazil at latest, to be fair, as they have got Mercedes in Sauber. Hasnen and Calaquist in Toro Rosso doing the job. Hasnen keeps on scoring them points, which has now found them second after this race in the constructors. Alice Killer is gonna get another podium, so very good result for Alice Killer. Not bad for Ferrari after the disaster they've had in the last 2 races, so hopefully this is a sign of things to come in the last couple of races for Ferrari. Hopefully a late charge with Toro Rosso, we can see a battle between them for the constructors. As ETA Mercedes is ever so slightly getting closer and closer, you can see there on the horizon. Robin is just a corner ahead of him in the S's, so 2.5 seconds between the two of them. Hasnen, I forgot to say, Hasnen has got some really nice pace with no assist here on the wet. Compared to Zeta Mercedes, got pulled by over half a second in the race, so for Hasnen to keep up with Zeta on the race is pretty remarkable, to be fair. So GG on the Hasnen.
Performances like that make me realise why he was put in a higher AOR tier than me.
Hello?
Much more confident in the rain than I am.
2 seconds between P4 and P5. This could get tasty towards the end. Calaquist starts his 24th lap of the race. I'm sorry for the lack of voice cracks in this race. There was some in the start of the Grand Prix.
Oh yeah, that was when everything was hitting the fan though, wasn't it?
The free battle between the top 6. Oh god, Zeta Mercedes so close to the barrier of the pit lane entry. That was scary indeed to witness.
The exact moment I moved off of spectating him as well.
Oh my god, he was literally he was literally heading to the barrier there. Somehow he's just gone opposite lock almost and somehow dodged that, but that was so scary to see. Oh my goodness. If he binned it there, that could have been his title hopes pretty much over there.
Seems to have been quite a scruffy race from Mercedes. He's made a few mistakes, especially that one you spotted about lap 10 or so, where he gave himself damage.
Oh yeah, that was crucial for the race. Could have been up there.
It's very unlike him to make mistakes like that, especially as he's won the last 3 races in a row.
Yeah. His win streak is definitely going to be over after this, but I want to see these lap times compared to Calaquist, because these two are going to be very close to each other. And yeah, indeed, Zeta Mercedes lapping almost a whole second quicker than Calaquist. You could say that Calaquist doesn't really need to push at this stage, but Zeta Mercedes was probably gonna be quicker than Calaquist on these conditions. But,
well, if qualifying pace is anything to go by, then yeah, you'd have thought so.
Well, then you see Spa's masterclass by Calaquist, where he won by so many seconds. Gonna repeat that here. One step closer to Grunge. Gap is now going to be down to 11 points. Yeah, the Thomas said it's indeed a very scruffy race, as you said.
Don't like this stage of the race where there's nothing going on. I mean, there's only 2 laps to go, but there's only 2 gaps that are under 10 seconds on track. One of them is 2.8 and one of them is 4.3. There isn't really too much to commentate on.
Indeed. Well, we cannot lie. The exciting start to the race, and up until lap 20 there were battles and overtakes. Plenty of them.
There was indeed, but I mean, it's another case of the last 2 races. Yes, the weather forecast has been the same for all of the last 3 races, but on all 3 occasions, the rain has caused the race to kind of peter out. Indeed. Massive excitement in the dry, and at the moment the rain hits, everybody just starts to form gaps. And we get to this stage at the end where we've just got massive gaps between everybody. 17.5 between the leading 2. 10.3 then to 3rd, and then 11.7 to Robin in 4th, 2.2 to ZR Mercedes, 5.1 to Hasnain, and then 23.7 seconds between the last 2. I mean, Calaquist has had a pretty good race though, I think, today. He was the only person of the top 4 starters on the grid to start on the soft tyres, and he managed to take them what was it, 20 laps he took them, or 19? It was 19 laps he took those soft tyres. Which, even in a normal dry race, is extraordinary to get the soft tyres to last 19, 20 laps. You wouldn't normally see them last more than 15.
Yeah.
So to get him to do that long in the race, while pulling away from Groeneisbeer, shows that he had some very good pace and tyre management, which is something that's very impressive to see and something I do like to see. Groeneisbeer in 2nd, had a couple of little battles early on in the race. But then eventually, once those battles had petered out, he was just on his own, as he has been for most of this race. As he's 17.5 seconds off the lead of the race, but he will maintain his championship lead, even if he finishes in 2nd place. He'll just lose a 6-point gap to Calaquist, who is currently the 2nd place runner in the standings. And they'll both take a benefit from the fact that ZR Mercedes has had a pretty topsy-turvy race and will come home in 5th unless he manages to pull in 2 seconds on Robin in the next lap.
Yeah, it seems very unlikely that to happen. Over 2.5 seconds, you can see how much ZR Mercedes is losing the back end of the last corner. Now everyone is on their final lap of this 27 lap race. Calaquist on his 2nd sector, ready to celebrate his 3rd victory of the season, which moves him 11 points behind Grunge. Who's had some damage limitation races on the last 2 weeks, so he needs to get some wins. He needs to outscore Calaquist in the last 4 races in order to stop Calaquist from getting so many points on him every race. Because at the end, with this form, I think Calaquist is going to move ahead of Grunge with no problem. Especially on raw pace, you saw here, there was pretty much no mistakes. But the gap is 18 seconds between the 2 of them. Calaquist has had a flawless race, wins his 3rd race of the season. Another rainy, another demanding race here in Japan. He gets 25 points and 7 points on his title rival Grunge on the Red Bull. He's gonna come home in second place. He's done the best he could have. Alice Killer, meanwhile, in third place. Very nice race from him. The only Ferrari in this race. He's gonna score another podium. And he's gonna move ahead of his teammates in P5 in the standings. Robin in P4 in the Renault. A very, very nice race from him. 12 points for him. I'm pretty sure he's gonna move up a couple of positions as well. Zeta Mercedes, probably a big loser out of this race. Only 5th for him. And he loses a lot of points. A lot of people had confidence in him in the polls we did in Twitter. And they were proved wrong here. Zeta Mercedes is not how do you say, he's not perfect. He's not perfect. So he makes mistakes.
He is human.
Yeah. So under pressure, Zeta Mercedes is another driver that can make mistakes. So just because he got a win streak.
Tom Killer having a bit of fun as he was crossing the line, just tried to get a Scandi flick over the line. He's just gone straight in the wall.
I love that when people just celebrate with 3 wheels.
Oh yeah, I know. Tosmus was a very famous one for doing that, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Every time when he crossed the line, he just put it in the wall as he went over the line.
No. Just because of that subject, I'm trying to bring up Friezo retiring with
in
30
PSGL.
meters to go in Australia.
Of course, I remember that from PSGL. Had fun celebrating and then binned it in the wall, and the game registered him as DNF before he'd crossed the line because his car didn't cross the line. Well, you should never celebrate too early, especially if you're winning. If you want to suggest to invite the people that need invites, Mike, because of course I'm on a different account.
Yeah, sure.
Alright, podium celebrations. We've got 2 Belgian flags and a Finnish flag up there on the podium. Calic Wrist, Grow Nice Beer, and Alice Killer are the top 3. Alice Killer got a stop-go added to his time, which is why there's 13 seconds there. Robin in 4th, a good race for him. Started off on the super. The only person in the field to start on the super soft tyres. Thankfully, it didn't cost him too much time, and he ended up getting 4th place in the end with fastest lap, I believe, with 1:32.1. ZR Mercedes in 5th. The man who's been on the charge for the championship lead with 3 wins in the last 3 races before this one. Bit of a disappointing one today. Ace Hasnane in 6th. Tom Killer 7th, and Jaruru finishes off the classified finishes in 8th place. Warlock Manir with a disaster, retiring in 9th. And then Maledictus, Andrew, Wame, Chill Drive, and who else am I missing? DNFing. Williams. Who's the first guy to retire? Who was the first guy to retire in the race?
I was John.
Oh yes, John. There we go. In the Williams. The last DNFer. Right, I'm just going to send invites to the people that need invites to the party, and then we will get some interviews going.
In the championship to ask them what they think for the title fight, as there's only 4 races to go in the championship and 11 points between them. Hello Carla Quest, hello Grinchbeer.
Hello.
We've got Alice Killer in the party as well, so we are good to go for the interviews. Starting off with Calaquist, your 3rd win of the season, moving you just 11 points behind the Red Bull of Greenwich. How was that race for you? And I think a question that most of us have, how do you take these soft 20 laps with the rain coming as well?
Well, not easy, but the softs were like 80% only when I beat it. Easy.
That's extraordinary.
Okay.
It's extraordinary tyre saving, taking those soft tyres 20 laps. I think even Mike could struggle with 15 laps, and he's very good on his tyres.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like 4% per lap on soft, is just mind-blowing to be honest. So, yeah, after losing the race due to strategy in Malaysia, you've now absolutely masterclass in Japan, got the victory. So, Greenwich beer P2, you did all the best you could, but 17 seconds beyond Cala Chris, with no mistakes, just on raw pace. Cala Chris obviously had some clean air, but how do you feel heading to the last 4 races?
Wow, you can win the championship. I don't care.
What? Lol. So, well, with the current form, I think many people may be doubting you to not win the championship. Are you gonna prove them wrong in USA?
No.
No?
Not confident in your chances, are you?
So you're not confident to
No.
get the title?
No.
No. Okay.
Yeah, he's way too fat.
Yeah. Alright, so Alice Giller, P3. We've not seen you in the podium many times. On the only Ferrari finishing again. Another race, so Oroso have now passed you in the constructors. You now move down to P3. For the drivers, you are now up into P5, passing your teammate. How was that race for you?
What was that noise?
So I have a question for all 3 of you in the party. We've had the same weather in the last 3 races, starting raining in the last quarter of the race. How was the grip comparing to Singapore and Malaysia? Was it better or was it more slippery?
Yeah.
It was the same.
The rain came like very slowly.
I was like, in
Yeah.
Malaysia, it was 2 laps before everybody was picked for inters. There, it was about 4 or 5.
Yeah.
Fuck rain.
Because I just find Singapore so slippery and wet, to be honest.
I would find Singapore slippery in general, but that's probably because I'm rubbish.
That's bad.
Yeah, nice pad as well.
Any questions from the stream? Obviously not.
Nope.
Great. How many people are watching?
4 at the moment. We did have one stage where we did have 0 people watching, which is a bit of a disappointment, but we did have some points where we had about 7 or 8.
Well, that was such a great race as well.
I know, mixed viewership.
Right, so I think that's pretty much it. Johnny, do you have any more questions?
No, I think you pretty much covered any questions that I had about the race.
Okay, so...
Hasnane, by the way, makes a comment of saying the mind games have started. That was in response to Grown Ice Beer saying he doesn't care about the championship. Hasane's calling mind games.
I'm gonna buy a wheel now. Try every day now.
I'm sure we'll find out in USA as to whether it's just whether it's mind games or whether it's serious.
Mind games.
So we'll see, it's getting tense up the top. 4 races to spare, and we will see you guys next time in USA. See you then.
Bye.